fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and well, whenever we last left off with this series, Deku and Tuska, after being attacked by a man Deku believed to be a member of the former Demon King's commanders, Deku, yeah, he was pretty badly injured. And they did run off. Deku, he believed that he defeated the man. And after running into the second commander, he ran into the third one the same night, where the third commander Deku discovered was a vampire. Now, Deku was quite caught off guard, as he did use his information on vampires to formulate a bit of a plan. The vampire wanted to know if Deku knew her name, since that is how you gain control over a vampire. Deku, he did use a skill to tell this woman her name, and she did actually talk to Deku. And they did form a bit of a contract, her sucking Deku's blood as she did then take him to an inn after he passed out. Now, currently Deku, the vampire, and Tuska, they are heading to an airship, and this is what the vampire does look like. I am unaware if that is a K or is supposed to be a T, but that is the artist watermark. Now, with that being said, Deku, Tuska, and the vampire, they did head to the airship. And Deku, he did go over all the information he could in the meeting, telling everybody about the supposed territories, how things do work here, and a few bits of information he does know from the vampire. And everyone was quite surprised. Apparently this woman is not human, no matter how much she does look it. And it does somewhat concern everybody. They think they know what she is. However, if it's true, it could be bad for all of them. Now, Deku, he did then head to the armory after everything was said and done, as Tuska and the vampire did follow him. Now, Deku, yeah, once he got to the armory, he did ask the person crafting weapons for their best weapon, and they did hand over something that appears to be a bit of a mono musket, asking if the Lord is finally going to be using these in battle. I've never fired a weapon like this before. However, I can already tell that this weapon here is imperfect. My lord. That weapon there I crafted myself. It took many hours and many days. And if you tell me that that weapon is not up to your specifics, I would have to inform you that you might be wrong. Do you know how to use that weapon? Yes, I do. Now, Deku does bring up his hand, pulling something out from underneath his cloak, as he does start to pull out firearms and set them all down. The craftsmen just looking at that, as they are quite intrigued. Now, you do actually have Janine and Tuska. Deku is pulling out all sorts of things. Guns, like pistols, shotguns, rifles, and Deku, he does even pull out something that does surprise all of them. The man watching as Deku does pull out a ginormous weapon that he does sit on the table. And Deku does actually go to bring out something and then go to pull it out as well. Him sitting it down, telling the man that that thing right there cannot touch the ground. My lord, what are these? These are weapons of metal? They are one solid piece. This craftsmanship, they're not one solid piece. They're a bunch of many smaller pieces designed to fit together. Deku brings up his hands, as he does slam down a bunch of notes. And the craftsman does call over many people, as they all do begin to start fiddling around with the notes and seeing exactly what these weapons are and how they're made. Now, Deku does inform the man. All the weapons he's just set down right here, he wants them to mass produce them, and even to make sure they are all distributed properly. All the people who are marksmen and know how to use the muskets need to immediately start training with these weapons, except they'll be using fake rounds, not live ones. Sir, I'm sorry. Mana. Let them use mana. Tell them not to charge at full blast, however. This is not a fight. Not yet. I understand, sir, but... Yes. There's also the other thing. These weapons can fire multiple shots at once and continuously, so they are a vast improvement over the musket. Now, Deku is going to head towards his quarters. As Janine, she does need to go report in to her family, or her people on the airship, and let them know what's going on. Now, with that being said, there is what's going on with Deku. He does head back to his room, as he's currently sitting on his bed, and he's holding up a mirror with his left hand, as he is bringing his hand up with his right and peeling off the bandage covering his neck. As he does so, he does see a strange mark on it. There are the 4 holes in his neck from whenever he did get bit. And then there's actually, well, symbols surrounding all 4 of the holes. Deku, he's not too sure what to make of that. However, he does actually have whenever somebody does go to say something behind him. Ah yes, symbol of the bond. Deku brings his hand up as he does go to spin around and summon his weapon. As Janine, she does just stand there. Or, well, sit there you should say. As she's on Junto's bed right behind him. What are you doing here? Now, Deku does go to unsummon his weapon, before going to bring his hand back up to his neck and use the mirror to angle it. No reflection, so that is true. Interesting. Yes, she does say, her crawling a bit closer and bringing her hands up onto Deku's shoulders. The bite. It's something that we use to symbolize the bond. I'm aware. It's also a way of marking a contract. Other vampires will not come near you, as long as you possess this mark. I see. So what? So, it would be a bit more complicated if another vampire approached you with a contract. Signing away your life multiple times is not something that many people would do again. And if 2 vampires are caught in a situation just like that, they must fight over who gets the human, or whoever summoned them for the contract. I see. Now, Deku does bring up his hand, as he does grab onto Janine's hand, and directly go to turn around. You need to stop it with that. I know what you're doing. I see. Well, I am curious. The weapons you made, I haven't seen engineering like that since the Dwarven technology. Dwarven technology? Yes, the weapons. They reminded me of dwarves. Wait. Deku actually going to lean in a bit closer. Dwarves, you know of them. I thought they were extinct. They are not extinct. In fact, they are very much alive. Just like my own species, they're not really very common. Many of them live in the pits of the Forge, a land so viable with material that when a volcano erupted hundreds of years ago, everything started to melt and seep into the ground. The land is still so hot and coarse with the power of the magma that anytime anyone does forge a simple weapon, it is always never the same. I'm sorry? It's a very strange place. Many dwarves made their home inside those caverns. And those caverns we've turned into a bit of a prison. Hmm? The dwarves, they don't really care. As long as they get to swing their hammers and make their weapons, they're perfectly fine. And, well, it's quite enjoyable. Now, Deku does look at Janine, as he does ask her if she can give him information as to where the dwarves are. Now, Deku does just stare down at Janine. Her eyes, they're fixated on Deku's neck, the exact spot where she did bite him before. And Deku, he does just seem annoyed, bring his hand up and directly grabbing Janine by her, well, chin, angling upwards, telling her to tell him now. Hmm? You wish to know where they are? I can't do that. Why not? Because that would go against my orders. I'm not necessarily inclined to follow her. However, I can make my own decisions. Hmm? You could go after them. That is your choice. And I couldn't really do very much to stop it. However, if I do give you the information as to where they are exactly, I can be held liable and at fault. I see. So you wish to make a deal, don't you? Hmm. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. More of a trade. I can give you the area they're generally around. No more than that. In exchange for blood. How often does your species need to feed? Now, Deku does look at her face. The way she does try to pull you in. She speaks softly. She tries to present herself as smaller and not a threat. The way she does try to cling to you and act comforting. Just her entire body language is all wrong. She is an ambush predator, and he can tell that, just from her actions alone. My species, we need to feed every 2 weeks at the minimum. However, you're blood starved, aren't you? There you go. Yes, the Demon Lord, she passed away a few years ago. And it's been troubling. I am able to get by on small contracts. However, the magic in their blood, it can't satiate my thirst. Draining multiple people dry, it's lost much of the nourishment I have. I've been, well, starving myself, just because they're so weak. I see. And you think that I'm strong enough? No. Your blood contains magic. Along with that is your species and whatever you are. The taste, the magic, everything. The unique flavors combined, I'm able to savor them. Now, Deku, he does just stare at her. There's that look on her face. He knows what she's talking about. She's been thrown scraps, and for the first time in a while she had a full meal. So, Deku does just go to bring up his, well, hand, and go to pull over his shirt, revealing the area more. Telling her that if she does feed, she needs to give him the information. The moment he does say that last part, she immediately would lunge at Junto and go to bite down at the area. Now, we actually do have about 1 minute before that does happen. Tezuka, she's gone around the airship and informed multiple people that she's back. Along with that, she did want to at least make sure a few things were going smoothly with her family. And she does want to currently talk to Lord Junto and try and train up some more. Try and improve her swordsmanship and possibly even hunt some of the creatures that are known to lurk in the desert. Now, she does approach his door, as she's just down the hall. her hearing a loud crash as she was sprinting forwards. And she just busts into the room to see the vampire. She's currently sitting on top of Junto, and both of them, they are on the floor, as she's got her teeth sunk right into his neck. Now, she's going to rush forwards as she's going to try and pull the vampire off of her lord. The moment she's going to grab its shoulder, the vampire is going to try and bring up her arm and go to slash at Tuska. Deku throwing up his own as he's going to grab her by her wrist and using strength magic keep her in check. As he does just tell Tuska through his breath that it's all fine. Now, you do actually have the vampire who just goes back to looking down at Junto before going to bring her teeth back down and sink them in. Now, Deku, his face does somewhat wince in pain, as the vampire, after she's gotten her fill, does go to get up off of Junto, bring her hands up to, well, wipe away the blood, and go to clear that off. Now, Tuska, she's still very bizarred out or freaked out by that, as Deku does go to sit up and bring his hands up to the wound. And Tuska, she is going to try and ask a question. But before that can happen, the vampire does just say, or Janine does go to say a location, talking about how it's in between this city and this city here. And this is the name of the volcano that they're supposed to be nearby. Now, Deku, he does look towards Janine, as she is going to walk out of the room. Hang on. What is it? For a part of our bond, I want to add some agreements. People are afraid of you because of what you are. Agree that you will only feast upon my blood and not harm anyone, and you will be able to stay on the airship. You will not be permitted to leave or kicked off. Are you sure you can really handle that? I am. Do you agree? Yes, I do. Now, the vampire is going to walk away, as Tuska does ask what that was all about. Now, Deku does go to stand as he does feel lightheaded, telling her that they've made an agreement, and right now they can head to a location to gain some allies. My lord, these allies, they possibly couldn't have been their dwarves. Now, Tuska does just stare blankly at Junto. Their what? Yeah. Their craftsmanship is insane. Their weapons, I believe, would be as well. She gave me an area to search, and I gave her some food. Now, we need to find them. Afterwards, we need to start making better plans. My lord, was that really... Yes, it was. She's a starving vampire. And if she's allowed on the airship to roam, she might attack people. If it means just draining a bit of blood, then I'm willing to take the bite. So, everyone else can feel safe. Now, Tuska does look at Junto, as she does ask him if he would be at least willing to teach her some new things for training. And Deku does look up at her. Yeah, I can. Just give me at least an hour to regenerate some blood. Yes, my lord. Now, she does get to leave, as Deku does just sit there. He's trying to narrow down the location as to where this could be. On a map, he may have seen those names. So, he needs to understand all of that. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.